Welcome back to the channel, everybody.
Happy Vlogmas, everybody.
Happy Vlogmas. In today's video, we are going to be talking about some Christmas movies. And we all know that Christmas time is a time to spend with your family, hang out, watch some movies, but finding the right movie sometimes can be difficult.
So we hope today we've got 4 of the lesser known holiday movies that are really good that you and your families may enjoy. So come get lost with us today as we explore some of those lesser known holiday films.
We'll be chilling and having a good time. Doesn't matter if the snow is falling or the wind blows and the rain is pouring. It will always be Christmas in my heart. But this year I wanna hang out with my friends and family, making angels in the sand. You ready? Doesn't matter, it is Christmas in my heart. And I can promise Santa's coming to visit. No, he wouldn't miss this.
So our first movie on our list of lesser known holiday movies is Jingle All The Way.
Yeah, so Jingle All The Way came out in
1996.
1996, so it's pretty old.
And it's rated PG, so it's rated for general audiences.
And it stars none other than Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sinbad.
Yeah, so Arnold Schwarzenegger's name in the movie is Howard Langston, and Sinbad's name is a postal worker. His name is Myron Larrabee.
That's a name.
It's a name. So basically it's all about commercialization. It's about getting your child the perfect Christmas gift from a father who waited way too long, and now he's literally stuck on Christmas Eve trying to get the toy of the year, which is Turbo Man.
Yeah, and it's all kind of really based around materialism. The fact that the kid makes a statement that anybody who doesn't get this is not going to be cool, is going to be left out. So obviously there's some guilt there on a parent's side. Now granted, I'm not a parent, but if you are, I'm sure you understand when your kid really wants something, you really want to try and get it for them. And in this movie, he literally goes above and beyond to try and get this toy for his kid. There's crazy antics.
They destroy a shopping mall, they end up in a parade, and Arnold Schwarzenegger is taking over the persona of Turbo Man and getting this whole like, oh, I'm gonna get the toy thing. It is a fascinating movie. There's also a Jingle All The Way 2, which we've never actually watched with Larry the Cable Guy. So in case you really like it, there's actually a sequel to it. But this one is all just about getting the perfect toy for Christmas.
And I think in the end, he does ultimately learn that it's not about materialism, it's about actually being together and being a family. So it does have a hopeful turnaround.
Yeah. I mean, at the end, he decides that the toy isn't worth it, and he gives it to Sinbad's character to take. So it all ends in hunky glory. But we don't want to ruin too much of the movie for you. Another sleeper in here is Jake Lloyd, Anakin Skywalker. The young Anakin Skywalker is Arnold Schwarzenegger's child. So, you know,
Young Annie.
Some good connections. Something to note too, kind of like a sort of historical touch on it. I guess Fox actually stole this idea from somebody else. And then in, I believe it was 2001, they were ordered to pay some amount of money, and then 2004 was reduced because the person who actually wrote the story passed away. So, you know, some interesting sort of tidbits to this movie. But again, it's a very interesting movie and talking about Christmas and talking about getting that perfect toy.
Yeah.
So what would you rate it on your scale of 1 to, let's say, 1 to 5?
Probably a 3. This isn't a movie that I think we pull out every year. It's actually a movie I haven't seen in a very long time, but it is a decent Christmas movie, so.
I've seen it a few years ago. I think it's a great movie. I would probably give it about a 4 out of 5. It has some sort of flaws in it. Obviously, Arnold Schwarzenegger isn't the greatest actor when it comes to non-action movies, and Sinbad does okay. So I don't have any real dislikes for it, but it's a great sort of Christmas movie, and this is definitely a good one to start with. I said 4 out of 5.
4 out of 5. All right, that's Jingle All The Way. Our next one probably is gonna throw you for a loop here because it's not really one that people think of for Christmas. So our next unknown Christmas movie that you probably didn't think of
Gremlins
is the first Gremlins. It came out in 1984.
It's also rated PG, which is pretty fascinating.
Yeah. And it starts off really kind of happy-go-lucky. It's Christmas. He gets a gift from his dad, who picked up a random creature from Chinatown.
Yeah, he goes into Chinatown into this like little shop and ends up picking up
A mogwai,
Gizmo.
which is Cantonese for the devil.
Yeah. And some interesting facts too. Howie Mandel actually voices Gizmo. There's also some older sort of celebs that are in the movie too, but none we're really going to mention. I mean, overall the cast is interesting. The story's fun. For those that don't know, basically you get being the little Gizmo wet, or feed him after midnight, and bad things happen.
Yeah. If you get them wet, they hurt. You can't shine light on them, and if you feed them after midnight, they turn into these crazy maniac creatures, and they basically wreak havoc on this town. And eventually, I think the only way to get rid of them is to kill them.
Yeah.
But
it's PG though, folks.
But again, it's a Christmas movie. I think that nobody really thinks about. It takes place at Christmas. Gizmo himself was a Christmas gift, and
so one of the funny sort of side stories is the girlfriend named Kate hates Christmas, and you find out throughout the movie that she hates Christmas because her father dressed up as Santa, got into the chimney, so he ends up breaking his neck. So there's some weird sort of secondary stories that are going along here. Another sort of interesting Disney tie is at the end when they actually kill the bulk of the Gremlins. They're actually watching Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs in the theater. So there's some really cool Disney ties.
Yeah, so that is our kind of out there crazy Christmas movie.
Yeah, and while you're watching it, remember the special effects team hated Gizmo so much, they actually created a list of how to kill him off in the movie. So it's kind of an interesting thing to know too.
I honestly think they kind of look like those Furbies.
So if you're looking for a good one, Gremlins. Our next one is a little more holiday focused, and I think it'll surprise a lot of you, especially if you don't have Netflix, the streaming service.
Yeah. So do you like really heartfelt, good feeling Christmas movies? Well, if you do, this next one is definitely for you.
Yeah, Netflix's first animated movie was really, to us at least, a success.
Yeah.
2019, it's rated PG, and the name of it is
Klaus.
Klaus.
So it takes place in this tiny village, and the main character is a mailman, and he gets sent there by his father as a punishment, essentially, and his task is to basically encourage the mail system in this tiny village. Well, how does he do that? Well, he starts talking to the different people in the town. He gets very frustrated, and then kind of out of nowhere, he comes up with this idea of exchanging gifts for letters from the children in the town for good behavior.
Yeah, and it's called Smearensburg is the name of the town. It's supposed to be like in the sort of almost in the Arctic, really. It's touching that. Jasper is the main character. Klaus is basically an old man who was in the woods, who always wanted to have children, but his wife ended up passing away before they were able to have any kids. So he has like a ton of toys built up and stuff like that where he was preparing for them. And Jasper sort of gets the idea that maybe they can use some of these toys to really, honestly, he wants to sell letters at first, but I think towards the middle and end of the movie, he really just trying to make people's lives better.
Yeah, he realizes that it's bringing this town that was kind of separated, almost like you think like a West Side Story, Romeo and Juliet, where there's two sides and they don't talk to each other. And somehow this just brings the entire community together, and throughout it, they learn how to love each other again. And yes, there's conflict throughout, and I have to say, this movie kind of made me tear up a little bit, and it still does. It's got a beautiful story to it, great music, great animation, and it's just very heartfelt and very warm. I think it's probably one of my favorite Christmas movies. Yeah,
and she's compared to the Romeo and Juliet, I wouldn't go so far as that way. It's a lot more like lighthearted in their wars between each other. Like, you know, they'll steal a bathtub while someone's bathing in it, or they'll like put their clothes in mud and stuff like that. It's not anything sort of unfamily friendly. It's very sort of family friendly, the feud even. And like they said, it's so cute. We watch it every year since 2019, since we found it. And it's one of our favorite holiday movies, I would say. And just, it's not very well known because if you don't have Netflix, there really is no way to watch it.
Yeah.
It's not on Blu-ray, it's not on DVD. Apparently in some other countries, at one time they did sell it, but finding one of those copies is next to impossible. So if you have Netflix though, it's easily there and it'll always be there because it's a Netflix movie.
Yeah, and the main theme song of this movie, I absolutely love. It's on one of my music playlists, so definitely check out Klaus this holiday season because I don't think you're gonna be disappointed at all.
Yeah, we can't recommend it enough. And our next movie that we're gonna talk about are hidden holiday movies that you may not have seen is made famous by a show that doesn't even exist anymore.
By The Soup. So if you ever watched The Soup, this movie really became popular thanks to the host of The Soup.
Yeah, Joe McHale loved it, and that's how we actually found it too.
Yeah.
So we're hoping that you can come along with us and see the insanity that this next movie is.
Yeah. All right, so we're back, and this time with a crazy holiday movie that you probably have never heard of.
It's probably the greatest holiday movie ever made.
Side note, it is a Lifetime movie.
It is, and you can find it on YouTube. So you can look it up right now on YouTube and watch it for free.
And what is that movie?
It is called The Christmas Consultant. It's from 2012, and it's also rated TV PG, which is a little bit different, but...
And it stars none other than the David Hasselhoff. And he is... Owen, who is a Christmas consultant who was hired by this family to help them plan their holidays because they work too much and they're having a holiday party and they just need some help getting things together.
So what's a Christmas consultant, you say? Well, basically, they play Christmas in their head 24/7. But really, it all revolves around the mom has just moved to Seattle. They moved to this new area. She's catching up on her job. So one of the things that she needs to do is plan a big holiday party. And she hires him, like Nacy says. It ends in this whole sort of event at the end with the Christmas party itself. And you get to learn more about the family along the way.
Yeah, and David Hasselhoff continually brings in this crazy, witty character. And I feel like it's just funny. It's funny and awkward, and it's a very cheesy Lifetime Christmas movie. And it's a little bit different than most Lifetime movies where they're all about like love and like a boy and a girl meeting and falling in love. That really doesn't come into play in this movie at all. It's really about this family learning who they are and coming back together and realizing that it's family that's important at Christmas time and not necessarily the decorations or everything else that goes on. It's just being together. And at the end, after the blow up, they do find out a little bit more about Owen, David Hasselhoff's character, and they kind of bring him into the family circle. We won't give away spoilers.
Yeah,
but
right. We don't want to tell too much of the movie. It's fantastic in its cheesiness too. So when you're watching it, the lines are cheesy, the acting is cheesy. David Hasselhoff actually said his role in this movie was very cheesy, but he said it's fun to watch, and that's why he made it.
And like we said at the beginning, this movie was actually saved by Joel McHale on The Soup, just kind of bringing its witty humor to the spotlight, and it definitely revived this movie that came out in 2012.
Yeah, it came out in 2012. They aired it one time, horrible ratings. And then Joel McHale had it on The Soup for about a month straight, constantly just showing clips of it, making fun of it, and that's how me and Nacy found it. So then we watched it with a lot of other people, and Lifetime actually showed it 5 more times at Christmas, and have showed it every year since because of The Soup.
Yeah.
It's sort of a cult classic now, super funny, super cheesy, super holiday-esque. And David Hasselhoff is David Hasselhoff, so if you've ever seen him anything else, yeah. I mean, you can do Baywatch and drive in a car, you can definitely make a Christmas movie.
Yeah, so that is gonna wrap it up for...
So that's our 4 movies for the thing, and we hope that you guys enjoy at least one of them.
All right, so we hope you guys enjoyed learning about some lesser known Christmas movies.
And we hope that it gives you guys some opportunities to watch some other movies. We know Frosty and Rudolph are always those classic and go-tos, and Elf and stuff like that. So these are some other options that you might want to check out because they're fun and they're family friendly and really kind of engaging.
Yeah, so if you have any lesser known movies that maybe you've never heard anybody talk about, please let us know in the comments below, because I'm pretty sure other people too would love to have your suggestions. So
yeah, one of my guilty pleasures is really watching cheesy Christmas movies. So if you got some good ones, leave them in the comments below. I'll be sure to watch them.
yeah, so we will see you guys tomorrow in our next Vlogmas video.
Yeah, come get lost with us again, and happy Vlogmas!
Happy Vlogmas!